Hello everyone, this is Dapper from Tech Economy as usual, and you know we always give you the juiciest and the best gist. I'm sure you're wondering why was it not my face on the last podcast? Oh well, some things happened. I went to get married. I'm joking. All right, guys, this is Dapper from Tech Economy. As always, do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. It is Tech Economy. My guest today is super interesting. This is someone that is very enthusiastic about Web3 and the whole blockchain system. And this is a conversation I've been always willing to have. And one of the most cogent questions I have is, what is Web3? And I know that is one question that a lot of you have in your mind. The older generation are wondering, what is Web3? And Yoruba people will say, Yahoo ni Yoshi. Now, I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
But they say Yahoo Lunchi. So my guest today is someone that has trained over 2,000. No, that's 20,000. Over 20,000 personalities or individuals in the country. And I can say that this is to show that digital transformation and the digital technology in Nigeria is progressing. But I don't know how far and how big it is. But stick around. The conversation is about to get interesting. Let's go on this short break and we'll be back. All right, guys, we're back, and today we have Mr. Jude. And I don't want to murder that surname because me, I'm Yoruba. I don't want to even try it. How are you, Mr. Jude?
Great.
Can you help me pronounce your name?
Ozinegbe.
Ozinegbe. I was going to miss it. I didn't try.
So the N is silent, and it took me some years to know
pronounce
that.
your name.
Yeah. So ordinarily, it's pronounced Ozinegbe because there's an N. But after a while, parents told me the N is silent, so it's Ozinegbe, and it means patience.
Yeah. Igbo is very technical, I must say.
Well, but that's not Igbo.
That's not even Igbo. That's from what part of the country?
Esa. Or what you call Isha.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's not go there. All right. So briefly tell us what you do. I mean, I read your bio and I'm like, wow, I'm excited to have a conversation with you today because I have a lot of questions.
Okay. All right. So thanks everyone. I'm Jude Ozinegbe and I'm the founder of Cyberchain. Cyberchain is Africa's leading Web3 and digital economy aggregator. What we simply do is bring founders, startups, devs together with VCs, incubators, accelerators, and most importantly, users. But now, as evolution has come, we've been able to also bring regulators and policymakers under our umbrella. So it's a warehouse of every player in the Web3 space.
A warehouse of all players in the Web3 space. Before we delve into the conversation, before that person skips the conversation, you started this conversation. I'm a 10-year-old. Explain what Web3 is to me.
Beautiful. Web3 is our internet. The internet for you, the internet for me, the internet that I can own. So it's a co-owned internet as against Web1 that the ownership was restricted to just some people, which they called read-only. So I couldn't contribute and I didn't have a share. Web 2 was read and write. So people could write to it and I could respond, but I still didn't have a share. Web 3 now came and it became a co-ownership where people could create, I could contribute, I could respond, but I could also earn. So I had a voice. So Web 3 has given voices to everybody. A phrase I wouldn't readily use, the ordinary people. But now, for lack of a better word, we could say Web3 has given opportunity to the ordinary person, where I don't need to know a powerful man somewhere to contribute to the world and also be compensated for the skill I'm contributing to the world. It's the simplest form of Web3. So when someone comes into the Web3 space with that understanding that I can contribute and I can make something, I can make a living out of it, then the next question is, what can I contribute? What solutions can I bring? How can I make the world a better place with this technology? We can now expand from there and make it bigger into the type of solutions, the apps, the problems you're solving, whether you're making it decentralized, distributed, the security, the protection layer and all of that. But basically, For a 5-year-old, Web3 will give him or her a voice. He or she can contribute. So it is ours. There's no fear of censorship. There's no fear of control. There's no fear of hijack, right? So it's as basic as that. But of course, at a lower level, 1 plus 1 is 2. But at a much higher level, 1 plus 1 may not be 2 because other factors will now come into it. So let's make it like an open market where everybody can come in, then we can graduate.
Yeah, interesting stuff. And I would like to say you're doing a very good job, because over
Thank you.
20,000 people is not,
And counting
it's not even, it's like 20,000.
and growing.
And I would say only very few people these days would you see that give back to society in terms of, okay, I know about this thing, but let me now transfer this knowledge to a couple of people. And I think that's one of the major problems that we're having in this country. A lot of people prefer to compete rather than collaborate.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that we need to start working on. So in terms of blockchain, how does putting blockchain on one side and Web3 on one side? I know some people will tell you that, oh, blockchain is another type of technology. It's another design. And the conversation today is around blockchain and Web3. So also give us what does blockchain entail? What is blockchain all about?
So blockchain in the simplest form, because I always test any knowledge with explaining it to younger ones. It's a digital record, the simplest form. Before you now start building all the decentralization and the distribution and everything on it, blockchain is simply first a digital record. If it's health records, academic records, vehicle records, land records, population records, it's a digital record. Transaction records, so all of these are actually transactions, but financial records. So blockchain is a record that keeps all of these transactions together. Pharmaceutical records, from manufacturing of, in fact, from the idea of the research of pharmaceutical products to the manufacturing, to the entire supply chain of the pharmaceutical products, up to the end user, the consumers. You can have all of that on the blockchain. That's a record. Election, voting, the interaction between the voters and the political members, the candidates and all of that, it can be on the blockchain in a digital form, a digital record. Farmers, from the crops to the end user. So there's a whole value chain, the supermarket, the logistics guys. You can have all of that on the blockchain. That's a digital record. So the blockchain can power the record of transactions across various strata. So if I'm explaining to a newbie, the blockchain is first of all a collection of records in digital form. But we can now take it a notch higher to say that these records are decentralized because it's not stored in just one place. It can be stored all over the world in several computers. These computers can be phones, so we call them nodes. But sometimes Web3 guys, blockchain guys will just throw...
You just give us, slam us words
just throw
on
words.
X.
Just throw words. Maybe today I would have started with GM because that's what is out there now. But most people don't even know what this GM means. So if we come and say node, what are nodes? A node is any device at all, any device that can be added to a network. So if this mic is smart enough to be added to a blockchain network, it becomes a node. And there are devices that look ordinary like this, but they are IoT devices, Internet of Things, like the Raspberry Pi, Arduino, and the rest of them. So if those nodes can be added to a blockchain network, they become a node contributing to the activities of that network. However, if your smartphone is connected to the blockchain network, it becomes a node. Your laptop, your tablets, servers, and the rest of them. So all of these various devices that are working on the network are nodes. Now they are all decentralized because they are not in the same place. That's taking this blockchain conversation to a higher level. Now, there's now something more beautiful about it, which is called the distribution. So distribution means everything that is occurring on one node is occurring simultaneously on another node. In other words, if one node goes down, it does not affect the activities of the network. That is where the blockchain is able to borrow the security feature from. So when we say the blockchain is secure, it then means that all the transactions record that are running on the blockchain network can be seen in all the different nodes that are decentralized, right?
Yeah.
But also distributed. So all the activities happening on the network, I can see it, you can see it, every other person can see it. So if you bring that into manufacturing, you can use that to curb counterfeit products, because if the issuing authority, who is the manufacturer, release their product and they batch it with barcodes, serial numbers, and you put that on the blockchain, because it is decentralized and distributed, every player on the network have seen it, so they have tagged it. That post of this product is now like a block, a new product that has been added to the network. Everybody have seen it. If somebody else is trying to introduce a counterfeit, all the nodes on the network, we see that it is not carrying the sequence of the previous products. So we can expunge it. We can say we do not agree. So there's a whole lot about that, right? Yeah. So let's just keep it simple, and so that we don't have information overload.
Exactly. So, but I would say you started giving me some of the solutions or what blockchain can really do,
Okay.
and I don't think it's something that we've adopted in Nigeria. But what are the common, because you are in the field more, what are the common myths about blockchain? And I raised the conversation about how maybe the older generation will tell you, oh, it's fraud, it's internet fraud. But you are more in that landscape, and you've had conversations with people, and you have had more experience rather.
Yeah.
You've trained 20,000 people. What are those common main myths rather about blockchain? I don't want to go into cryptocurrency because that's another one.
Oh, we have to touch it.
Yeah, we have to touch it. So what are the common myths in the blockchain system, or in the blockchain? Because I know blockchain is like a blueprint. What are the common myths that you've heard or seen or you encountered?
Okay, so first of all, we'll talk about the misconception. And it's general, it's everywhere. So it's not just about people that are not educated or people that are not literate.
Then, sorry, are these misconceptions peculiar to Africa, Nigeria? It's
global.
Worldwide.
It's global. We've been opportune to speak with people from all over the world, virtually and physically, and it will shock you that we've met Europeans, Americans that don't know anything about blockchain. So let's not say it's an African thing or a Nigerian thing. No, right? So the misconception is there, which is blockchain is crypto and crypto is fraud. That misconception is there, and that's one of the reasons why we went into training as at 2018. We saw knowledge gap, but was that knowledge gap we saw wrong understanding? It's even a lesser problem, a lesser challenge when people do not have the right when people don't even have knowledge, so they don't know something is existing. But it's a worse issue, a bigger problem when they have the wrong understanding of something. So because they don't have the right understanding of something, they use it wrongly or they treat it badly. It's even worse, right? So we saw the knowledge gap, but bigger than that, we saw the misconception of bedeviling blockchain because of the wrong understanding and the bad experiences they had with cryptocurrency. So we said, how do we provide solutions to this? Education is the first key to human emancipation. Any organization, any family, any community, any government that does not embrace education is playing with a ticking time bomb. If you want to improve the economy, go the way of education. You want to empower the people, you want to strengthen the people, educate them. You want to secure the future of an economy, educate the people. The people will now be able to recreate and expand and improve that economy. So when we saw this at our level way back 2018, we're not known and we didn't have as much resources. So we started from where we were and we started training people with the little knowledge we had. The technology was also still very nascent then. So as we were learning, immediately we were replicating the knowledge, training people in local communities. Then there was need for conferences. We started doing conferences. What the conferences did for us was that it opened us to larger communities. Then we now streamline our engagement to trainings again at local workshops. So we do the big conferences annually, right? So for the rest of the year, we go into smaller communities again and train, webinars, physical workshops. Then the next year we do conference again, So we now started seeing the challenges that people were having because they've gotten their fingers burnt with Ponzi schemes and scams. And in fairness to government, that was what now made the environment a bit stifled because the duty of government is to secure lives and properties. So the government felt, okay, they needed to secure the economy, but the approach then was a bit not too clear.
Yeah,
right?
I would cut you there and
Okay.
I'll ask you a very, very sensitive question. I'm not even going to look at it. I'm going to answer this question so that when they are holding you, they hold you alone. Do you think the government is responsible for the misorientation that people have as regards cryptocurrency? Yes or no?
So it's not a complete yes and a complete no. It's collaborative yes and collaborative no. Yeah. So we have lots of misconception that the private sector, players in the space, OGs, are also responsible for. There are lots of influencers, crypto influencers that have put out wrong information out there as well. Lots of entrepreneurs and business, serial Web3 crypto serial entrepreneurs that have put out wrong information out there, taking advantage of people's ignorance, right? And it gave the industry a bad name. Yes. Then on the side of the government, when they were looking at regulation, they also came with an anti-positive regulation, a regulation that was not encouraging, and it wasn't even regulation as it were. It was just the action to stifle initially. And well, I would say in fairness to them, it's also because they didn't understand
The people in power to
the power of the technology and what it could do for the youth. But gradually it started changing when they saw that even against what they had done, the technology was still growing. Engagement was increasing. Nigeria sits at the apex of crypto users in the world, top 1 or 2 in Africa. Arguably, today they say South Africa, tomorrow they say it's Kenya, but Nigeria runs at the top 1%, in Africa. VCs, venture capitalists, rush into Nigeria every day, investing in startups. So there must be something good about this industry that we haven't seen, but foreigners are seeing. But I'm glad that the tide is changing. Government is seeing this now, and they are sitting up to say, okay, where can we make adjustments, right, to put things right in the economy?
Yeah. Yes. I would even say I attended some events that were packaged by NITDA.
Okay.
And I think the education is getting better because
Massive.
now they are trying to encourage business owners to even have like a website that has the ng.ng.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So I think the government is trying in terms of, but I don't know about cryptocurrency, but I know in terms of like digital transformation,
blockchain.
Yeah, exactly. So sitting on the conversation of digital transformation, because we're using technology as a springboard.
Yeah.
How would you say small businesses can tap into the network of digital transformations, blockchain, crypto? I knew that there was this, I don't want to call it Ponzi, but there was this crypto coin that I bought at the time, and they were like, oh, this will be Nigeria's first official cryptocurrency. That very soon traders will start using this coin. And I mean, I bought it to pump money.
Wow.
But then it became something else.
Dust.
How can small businesses embrace digital transformation as a looking at it from the perspective of transactions?
Okay.
From perspective of, like you said, a form of investment and another stuff like that.
Okay, so you mentioned two things. Transaction is one, investment is another. The one they can start today is transaction. And I'm very excited to say it here that we've made some huge traction, great milestone. A few weeks ago, the CNGN was announced.
Okay.
That's the Nigeria stable coin. There have been various attempts, but this is the first regulated stable coin for Nigerians by Nigerians. So MSMEs can go the way of using the stable coin for their transactions now. We have two exchanges, Nigerian owned and operated exchanges, that got their licenses from the Securities and Exchange Commission of Nigeria. So these are regulated marketplaces. Busha and Quidax is in the public domain. So this is not advertisement because I don't want your marketing team to to come after me. Yeah, so it's public knowledge. So MSMEs can go to Busha, Quidax, open accounts, and fund it with their fiat, which is the normal naira. And with that, they can buy CNGN and they can use CNGN for their daily transactions. So someone selling tomato can tell me she can receive CNGN. Someone selling cars can receive CNGN. So that way, we are building on our digital economy by going with on-chain funding, because our normal naira is off-chain.
Yes.
But the CNGN is on-chain, and there are lots of benefits with going on-chain. Transaction, traces, forensics, and so many more, right? Now, where that can lead us to beyond the MSMEs, the micro, small, and medium enterprises, is we'll soon start seeing, this may be a prophecy or otherwise, government workers, public servants getting paid in CNGN, right? And because it is pegged ratio 1-to-1 with the fiat to the naira, it will help to boost the naira. It is on-chain. Somebody may ask, what does it mean and what's the benefit? You will not need to depend on foreign currency on-chain when you are using the naira on-chain, because before now, we would have been talking about the United States dollar on Tether network, that USDT.
Yes.
So if you are going on chain, you now need to look for naira to buy Tether. And if you go to the regular users on the street, they don't even know what Tether is. So if we're not even talking about the way the CNGN is running, it will not even look like you are using crypto or blockchain. It will look like your daily,
your normal transaction,
normal naira transactions, right?
But there was one that they launched one time that there was an app for it. Like I've been trying so hard to remember the name.
eNaira?
It was I think eNaira or something like that.
Yeah.
That there was an app that they built, like it was green, had a very green interface.
Yes,
like this.
I have it.
So what happened to that?
What's the merchant? So I think we will leave the conversation of eNaira for another day, because eNaira is still working, but it needs to be reinvented, and I think some works are ongoing. But the CNGN has come now as Captain Nigeria.
That's how eNaira. That's
what eNaira would have
gave
been.
us.
Yes.
That's the hope eNaira gave us. So what's the probability that CNGN is not going to give us this anymore?
Okay, so CNGN has been through lots of scrutiny, went through the SEC sandbox. It didn't just show up overnight. Lots of iterations have been done. I am excited to say that I'm in talks with the core team behind the CNGN. These are proven technocrats in the space. They are not people that just showed up like a flash in the pan. They are people that are built and are still building all their projects out there are still standing strong. And most of their projects have international recognition and usage operations. So the CNGN is not a test case because it's not the first product of these people, and it's a consortium. So it's a combination of proven entrepreneurs from on other fields and different companies coming together, contributing their strengths to build something that works for the country. And like I said, it's gone through incubation with the SEC. It's gone through various iterations. They have their license too. So it's the first stablecoin to be licensed in Nigeria. If our conversation gets to what the regulators are doing, I will touch on that. But if we don't have the time, I can use this opportunity to say that the Security and the Exchange Commission of Nigeria did a very fantastic work with the CNGN. Because this is the first time in the Web3 space we are seeing that handshake between the public and the private sector. It took a lot of work, to put this together. Then, because a software is useless without a hardware.
Yes.
No matter how wonderful your mobile phone is, if you remove the software, the life is gone. So the CNGN is like a software, but it needed something like an engine to move it. That's why the licenses that we're giving to the exchanges now gave life to it. So the exchanges had gotten their licenses first, waiting for how to express themselves, and here came the CNGN. So that collaboration has done a lot for us in Nigeria. There are some conversations going on. Lots of international investments are coming as a result of this. So over time, we're going to be seeing a huge development coming on board CNGN for remittances, day-to-day transactions, everyday people. What you're doing here now is amazing because you're letting people know what's going on.
I mean, a bunch of people probably didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, but we need more. We need more of these so that Musa can know what CNGN is. We will not have adoption. Let's not even say mass adoption. We will not have everyday adoption if Musa doesn't know what CNGN is. After shining the shoe, I pay him with CNGN. Busola does not know what CNGN is. I tell her, go and print something for me, and she can pay with CNGN. Emeka does not know what CNGN is. If he brings his car to me and I want to pay him with CNGN, he says he doesn't know. So we need more of this education at the grassroots level. Beauty about this, you go for a wedding, maybe on a Saturday, and Odogu says he wants to make his Achalugo happy. He does not need to go and start looking for Naira and spray and have problem with EFCC. He will just press her CNGN. So that's the adoption we're talking about.
Interesting. Achalugo. Okay, I have a question, but I'm trying to see how I can put it right. But you said something about VC. I mean, I like money in terms of funding, and I know that my viewers too. How can we make money?
Maybe they are there for the tech.
what all these things people are saying? How does it convert to money for me? But is there any hope that CNGN will be listed in the likes of Binance and others?
Yes. So one thing these large exchanges look out for is the user base, right? They have built their platform over time. They've gained credibility. So they wouldn't just want to list a coin that will turn to dust tomorrow. So in their metrics of listing tokens, they will check where you've been operating. Do you have user base? The CNGN is a stable coin, so it's not like other assets that you can. I'm going to airdrop now, right? That's the reason why.
Exactly, they should airdrop CNGN. They should airdrop CNGN.
Yeah, the guys behind the brains behind it, they are hearing me. So you've heard. Let's consider
airdrop it for us. Let us do that.
Okay, so if it was in that case, what these creators do is they airdrop their tokens. So when they go to exchanges, they can show the charts that we have these hundreds of thousands of people, users, holding our tokens. An exchange is not a charity organization. Yes, they are there for profit, they are there for transaction, they are there for volume. So when they see that, they list those tokens. But beyond that, the projects that token is supporting, they want to know. The utility of that token, they need to know. the viability of that token, they need to know, because exchanges have also gotten their fingers burnt over the years,
Yes.
where they list tokens and those tokens get either
Trump coin. You need to mention
I
it.
mean, so memes are they operate in a different space entirely, and they have their purpose, right? I'm not against it, but I'm also not 100% for it if your focus is something, right? So before we digress beyond it, yeah, let me just
mention some
mention,
people's fave.
yeah. So for the CNG and the Nigerian stablecoin, there is hope for it to be listed in international exchanges. Conversations are already ongoing, but I will not be the one to let the cat out of the bag. Yes, but just know that in the next few months, you'll be seeing it in foreign exchanges.
Let me go and quickly buy.
Yes, please do. Please do.
Okay, so we've gone 30 minutes plus into the conversation, and I need to start wrapping up because I mean data is already expensive now. How would you say business owners can strategically put themselves on the map to get funding? Like I said, we had a conversation a little, we touched on VC funding.
Yes.
How can you businesses, like small businesses, oh, I'm selling shoes, I have a shoe manufacturing company, I'm doing this. How can I digitally position myself to be able to get funding like this, or to be able to get investors to be able to put money into my business and let my business spring up and grow?
Okay. The first thing to do is start. Most startups, most founders are chasing the word first, and they've not started anything. Times have changed. The ecosystem is becoming more mature. Years back, it was very easy. It was easier to get funding because investors were just like, okay, let's put money here, let's put money there. But over time, they've made losses. Startups have folded up, and they are now getting smarter and asking the right questions. So if you have an idea, put it together and start where you are. If you're waiting for all the fancy equipment, you will not start this podcast. If at Cyberchain we're waiting for all the support in the world, we would not have started our trainings and conferences. In 2018, when we started, we used a small hall. Though it was in VI, but it was a government hall, so it was a bit cost-effective for us. We're not using the Oriental hotels and the NAV conference centers. No, we didn't start there. We didn't start with the DSLR cameras. No, we started with our mobile phones. We didn't start with live stream. If I tell you the setup we used for live stream, you will not believe it. We're using video capture cards and plugging USB here and there, running cables and hitting all the woods and doing all those things by ourselves. We're doing all the graphic designs and editing by ourselves. They were not world class, they were not great, but they were not bad. So we started building on it. And over time, we had built credibility because of consistency. Then we started putting our thoughts together. So what I would tell any startup is, when you start, record everything you do. Keep record of everything, your transactions. If you're doing shoes, just gradually start within your environment. Speak to those around you. Have the global vision. Don't be small in your mind. Be great. Think about speaking with the president of countries. But start where you are. Speak with your friends. Speak with your local government chairman. Even local government chairman at the beginning may be big. You know, speak with the people that you can have their ears at first. But keep records of all those things. Even where you've made errors, keep records of all those things. You do iterations. You do your self-appraisal. Improve on it. Tomorrow, next tomorrow. When I say tomorrow, next tomorrow, this may be 2 years, 3 years.
5.
Yes, I may be talking in days, but I'm actually speaking in years. Now, when a VC shows up and they say they're looking for people playing in the cottage industry, and you've been there for 4 or 5 years, and you'll be keeping records, and you've been able to get a small workshop, you show traction, you show consistency, and you've been able to use digital tools, you know, to bring what you're doing online, they will listen to you. You see, let's not be swayed by some flashy things we see on social media. You are not everybody. Some people, their uncles gave them $10,000 to start. If you want to follow them, you'll be frustrated. When we started, some guys were shutting down bigger halls, but we continue where we were. Today, some of them have fizzled away, but we are still there. Not like we are better than them. Not like we now have more resources than them. No, but we try to be consistent, and we're keeping records of what we are doing, so that over the years, when the Binances and the FTXs and the OKXs were looking for events to sponsor, they saw we're there. They saw we're still there. They saw we're doing what we're doing. So with more resources now, we could do what we're doing at bigger capacities. However, there is a threat to success. So the startup says they are looking for money, and VCs come, investors come, they've given them money, they become successful, and they hit the streets, and they go away from their blueprint. If I'm permitted to mention a brand, it's a Web2 brand, OPay.
Okay.
If that's okay. If you check, OPay has become very big. They are sitting on a 2 billion naira capitalization right now. But go and check the operations of OPay. They're not doing anything flashy. I'm sure they're still sticking to their blueprint. So our young guys coming into the space, when you start making money, that is not the time to go to a 5-star hotel. That's not the time to do first class. That's not the time to shut down rent.
I heard that. I was having a conversation with someone, and he said how somebody got funding. I think he got like, is it 3 million? And $3 million, and he started paying himself 15,000 every month.
Good, because he feels he has worked for it, which is not bad in a sense. But if you are paying yourself that, what are you putting back into the business? Are you looking at the future of the business? It is sad to say that many startups have raised so much money, and within 24, 36, 48 months, they have fizzled out. They have gone into complete oblivion. It is affecting the industry terribly, because VCs now are not bringing out those funds. And we are having genuine, intelligent businesses showing up. See, the innovations we are seeing now is nothing compared to what is going to come up in the next few years. The best apps, the best projects have not been seen. We've not scratched the surface of medical solutions. We've not scratched the surface of e-commerce. We are still having issues with e-commerce. We've not scratched the surface of fintech, of payments. We've not touched it. The best ones are yet to come. But if we exhaust the opportunities now because of frivolous living and careless lifestyles, we're going to affect the future. And when these younger guys that are coming with so much knowledge are ready to produce things for the country and for the nation and for the world, the backing will not be there anymore. So it's for our young guys that our opportunity to make things now. Keep your head down.
Yeah, they'll go and buy that Prado.
Project 100 years for that business. 2 weeks ago or so, we had a retreat at Cyber Channel. I was telling them the Abuja team, because we have teams all over the country by God's grace. And I was telling them, I'm looking at a situation where we should start grooming the 5, 10, 20-year-olds to take over from us. So if we're having that 30, 40, 50 years projection, if I'm getting $10 billion now, because I already know there's a future waiting, I will not blow it up on self needs. I must keep something for the future. And that's what governments try to come to control initially, but their approach also at that time was not right. That's why I'm glad again with what SEC is doing with the incubation program, where they're able to guide startups. NIDA is also coming with a sandbox with an incubation program that borders on compliance.
Yes, so let me just so over 10, rate the current leadership of SEC right now. How well are they performing?
Great. But you want number.
I like putting people on the spot.
You want number. Okay, we'll give them a 7 over 10. Yes, because one of the most important things about leadership is listening. And the SEC is listening right now. So now that the SEC is listening, there's something we also need to do. Speak the right things to them. You don't go complaining to a king. Kings don't thrive in complaints. They thrive with solutions. So you don't go to SEC with complaints. Tell us what to do. If youths protest, it's fine. So your protest will get the attention of government. So what do you have to bring to the table? What are your prayers?
Solutions.
Yes. You go to a judge, and after all the ranting, the judge asks you for your prayer. So you pray the court. You tell the court, these are what we need. These are what we want. So they will look at it. So you don't just cry like a child and you now have the attention of the parents and you have nothing to say. The parents will just give you sweets. So we shouldn't go to government. SEC is listening. NIDA is listening. CBN is going to be listening, right? Government is listening right now. But what are we saying? Are we asking for sweets? Are we asking for mundane things? This is a time to wake up and ask for the right things. Demand for the right things. And when there's a handshake, you don't go to the palace to play. You are before the king. It's a serious business. So you go there with the right attitude. Because when they listen to you, it is business to keep the economy running. So what do we have? Are we thinking of solutions? Are we ready right now? If we say, for instance, there's a town hall meeting and the DG of SEC is there, the DG of NIDA is there, the governor of the CBN is there, the minister of communications, and all the top leaders. Let's say the Federal Executive Council, it has never happened. Or let's assume the Federal Executive Council shows up and say all the tech boys in Nigeria show up. What are we bringing to the table? Are we going to be asking for bread and butter? Or are we going to be putting things that will make them think and say, oh, these guys are ready to make this nation move forward? Yes, I know we have a lot of bright minds that are thinking along these lines, right? But majority of the people complaining are not thinking along those lines. So SEC is listening. We'll give them a 7 over 10. NIDA is listening. We'll even give NIDA a 9 over 10.
Oh, okay.
This is not a political statement. And I'm saying this because, by God's grace, we are privy to some things. It's not all smooth, but it's progressive. So regulation right now is progressive.
Yes.
We've complained in the past. People have murmured. This is the time to contribute, to co-create, to co-develop. Yeah,
I agree with you. Okay, so 2 more questions before I wrap up.
Okay.
2 more questions, and these questions are like really direct and straightforward. So, is this the best time to buy bitcoins?
The second best time.
And my final question.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that app, or what is that thing that you can't go a day without doing?
YouVersion.
What's that?
When you said app, my mind just. So there's one app I can't go a day without. If there should be any, YouVersion. That's my Bible on my phone. I can do without any other app. So something happened one day. There was a day I was out. I think I traveled. Yes. So I traveled and some of us do it. My luggage was full, so I was looking forward to remove. And I have this big physical Bible.
Yeah, you removed your Bible.
So I have a Bible on my phone. So I dropped it, but I don't know what I did along the way. I'm heavy on my mobile phone. Even as I was coming, I've edited like 3 videos. I'm heavy on my mobile phone. I update websites too. I work a lot. I am virtually online. So my battery flattened out. And I use a good machine by God's grace, but it flattened out. And I needed to study something. There was something that had been bugging my mind. So I opened my luggage, and that's when I discovered.
You took out your Bible.
And the hunger was there. But anyways, I just said, okay, let me ponder on it, because I think I studied on it before. So I just brought out my jotter, and thankfully I saw something I had written. So if there's any app I can do without all the IM instant messaging apps, even bank transactions. There are days that there's no network. So what will you do? My papa not get
I
bank.
want to
So
shade the banks now, but
yes, we need to improve.
I want to ask this question, but you'll be like, Ad, do you think commercial banks that have been should be scared of money points now?
Why shouldn't they be?
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank
Sit
you
up,
so
guys.
Thank you so much. I don't know if you guys can leave that after an ad or something. But the conversation has been great. The conversation has been great. Thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you.
been a very robust conversation. I mean, it's been like I think 50 minutes.
Oh,
Yes. So I mean, if you want to reach out to you,
yes.
I have more conversations and maybe engage in your trainings because I think I probably even want to enroll because I have we have a community of boys because ourselves the cabal, so we share updates.
Whoa.
This is what is hot now. Because me anyway, like I bought BTC at one point, pumped it, the thing went up, we sold like that. So and there's also forex trading and
Okay.
so people that can join that community because sometimes I'm always lost. I don't understand. Oh, buy Zilly today. Yeah, so how can people reach out to you?
Yeah, I'm Jude Ozinegbe everywhere. Like I said, the N is silent, but it's OZINEGBE. I'm Jude Ozinegbe everywhere. There's something I learned yesterday about some new travel rules that who you are in person should be who you are online. So things are changing. But thankfully, I am who I am everywhere. So if you go to FB, IG, X, LinkedIn, I think I'm trying to go to TikTok now.
Hey, trust me, there's a whole community on tapped on TikTok. So most creators are the ones tapping it, but like serious minded
Professionals are not there.
I don't think they really.
So I'm crawling into the streets of TikTok, but I'm also Jude. Okay, I'm Daddy J there. Yes, but I'm gonna change it. Yeah. So I'm simply Jude Oziegbe everywhere. Then for Cyberchain, we are Cyberchain on LinkedIn, Cyberchain_NG on IG, then Cyberchain.ng on X and Facebook.
All right. So if there's another account that you need to follow and tap into, good thing. We're Tech Economy to everywhere.
Good,
So you guys should reach out to us. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell on YouTube. Very important. And like I said, you really never know. This information can be what will change your life.
True.
You really never know. I've tapped a lot of wisdom today, and I think you should. Till next time, have a lovely day. I remain Dapo from Tech Economy.
Great.
Peace out.
Thank you.